Hey guys, F26 here, and welcome back to Heights of the F1 League Season 5, and we are here today for round number 14, I believe, or maybe 15, for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And if you've seen my last race highlights from Singapore, you will know that I now have a significant lead in the championship of around 18 points, I believe it was. So we'll be looking to maintain or even extend that today around Malaysia. My pace was looking good, but Joe, or the Amazement's pace, was something out of this world. He was top 20 in the world in time trial, and I was sitting in 40th. So I'm knowing this is going to be damage limitation unless Joe and Luke get some bad luck. So on our qualifying lap now, and it's been decent-ish so far as we come to the end of the first sector, flat out through this left-hander, and then two downshifts swing it into the right for the right-hander there before coming to the double apex right-hander here. We've missed the apex for the first part a little bit. We managed to swing it back to the right for the second part as we now head down towards the hairpin at the end of sector 2, shifting it into first briefly to get the turn in as we get a little bit of oversteer on the exit, purple through the middle sector as the track map indicates there, as we now head through this difficult right-hander which we've managed to take quite nicely before coming into the final three corners of the lap. Through that flat left-hander, nothing to worry about there, and the penultimate corner now, very easy to lock up and run wide here, which we haven't done. We've taken that quite nicely on the power, a little bit of oversteer, not ideal, as we head down the first of two DRS straights around this track. As you can see, Azor Reaction's currently sitting on the Amazement, currently sitting on pole, with Luke in second and myself in third, as we've managed to get on the power off the final corner, and we head to the line now for 1 minute 34.1 or something, which puts us ahead of Luke for the time being. And as you can see on our second lap, we're looking a little bit up as we head into the final corner, still sitting in P2, not looking to beat Joe's time, but maybe improve our own time to get us away from Luke. But as you can see, it's not going to quite be enough as we're just in the red there, flicking to the green, but we're just 0.015 off our time, and Luke came in clutch at the end to beat us by 2,000th there. So Joe takes pole by an absolute mile with Luke in second and myself in third. Camundo takes fourth with Pepsi in fifth, a couple of guys on the mediums further down the top 10. But yeah, not ideal, I'll be honest, but third is still a good starting position. If we can stick within the DRS, it should be fine. I'm still going to remind you that myself, Joe, and Luke have not finished on the podium together at all yet this season, so it'll be interesting to see if that can occur in today's race, or maybe in the remaining few races of the season after this. But anyway, coming into the race now, we've got a strategy there, soft, hard, yep, cool. I don't know if you can put on a set of mediums or you have to do two hards, but we'll go for definitely the two stop. I don't think the three stop will be gaining you 20 seconds, as we'll just take a little bit of fuel out the car there, as I don't know what we're doing. No rain once again, but we did have rain for two races in a row in Belgium and Italy, although it didn't really affect us. So yeah, it's been a while since we've actually had meaningful rain, but oh well. We have the lights down. It's 4 lights, it's 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the Malaysian Grand Prix. We got a good start ahead of Luke there, and yeah, I didn't put the formation lap in this week because I couldn't be bothered. But yeah, we've got a good start ahead of Luke. Going to look up the inside of Joe into turn 1, but we braked early to be safe. Camundo's hit us. We've got sandwiched between Camundo and Pepsi. Camundo's been sent flying, and that is absolute carnage there. Absolutely disastrous. We're down to 10th briefly here, as we're still side by side with Camundo, still making contact, and yeah, I don't really know. I don't think it was anyone's fault, but as in, you can't be charging into turn 1 4 wide. It's not going to work there, and we have been severely hampered by that down to the back end of the top 10 here. Meanwhile, Joe and Luke managed to maintain first and second. Meanwhile, CK's done a fantastic start from the back of the grid up into P7 and maybe P6 if he can get past my teammate Sam, which he's unable to do, and through the middle sector. But yeah, hopefully we can get back past these people, but I know DRS is powerful here, so unless I can clear off in the middle in the sector, I'm going to be passed on the next lap. As I can see, I know CK is going for the dive bomb here, so I'm going for the switchback on the Renault. Can we get the move done there? Round the outside. He's going slowly on the inside there, so we might be able to hook it round the outside of the Renault driver, and indeed we can. That's an impressive move. And at this point, I did not care. I was going to go for every move. I see Sam going slowly into this corner. I'm going to chuck it up the inside from miles back. I'm not having any of this. Sam tries to hang it around the outside, but I'm not going to have any of that. and we should be able to keep that position there. So a nice double overtake there, and we're back up into P6 with Jordan Gibbs, the next car ahead, in P5 as we head down to the last corner. Can we get it stopped? Yes, we can. We maintain P6 for the moment, but due to the OP slipstream, Sam is probably going to be going past us into turn 1, but hopefully he doesn't, as he's my teammate. I'm going to give him the slipstream to help him defend from CK, but CK is going to charge up the inside there, extremely late on the brakes, and he's up the inside there, but we managed to hold that position for the time being as we come out of turn 2 now. But no, we've lost the back end there, and yeah, this was something that I'd done with the setup. I put it very aggressive, as we now got the two manners having a look, so I could have a lot of grip through the high-speed corners, but it wasn't very good on traction. We've got Taylor up the inside now, but we're going to squeeze him to the apex and hold that around the outside as we head once again through the middle sector of this lap, and still in P8, so no progress as of yet, but hopefully we can get somewhere soon as we run a bit wide on that right-handers. There's a yellow flag, and that's because Jordan Gibbs had actually been spun out onto the infield there, which has helped us gain a position, and CK is now up to P5 from last in 2 laps, which is extremely impressive if I do say so myself, as we're looking on the back of Sam once again, our teammate trying to maybe find a way through, but we don't want to force it. Obviously, we're still in with a shout of the constructors, and we don't want to be taking any unnecessary risks. But Sam's going to charge up the inside of CK this time. I'm going to see if I can use this to my advantage, but Sam, obviously clean driver, doesn't make any contact or anything, and they both managed to get through the last corner, penultimate corner rather, pretty well without any contact. But we're in the slipstream. Are we going to go up the inside of our teammate? No, we're back out of that. See what we can do on the exit. We've missed the apex, but we can take a late one as a result, and Sam's just run very wide there, and that's going to give us the position as we run side by side. CK giving me the slipstream, but then moving across to give Sam the slipstream, and Taylor's going to get in on this as well as we head down towards turn 1, as we're going to try and brake very late. We've got a car up the inside. It's Taylor out of nowhere, and yeah, we've managed to hold on to that, but Sam has been absolutely monstered there, and he is down into 8th maybe, or 9th, because I know Jork was in there as well. But yeah, we managed to get up to P6 for the time being, and next up is Callum, once again, as we've missed apex to turn 4 there quite impressively. But yeah, Callum obviously on the hards, as you can see, so we should in theory be much quicker than him, but he's putting himself in a very good position for the rest of this race as we now get on the DRS as we head down the back straight towards the final corner. And because of the way this DRS works around this track, which is in my opinion is stupid, I'll get it for this straight as well, even though I was ahead of him going to the last corner. So yeah, we're up into P4. Sam's gone for an undercut, up to P5 rather, I could read. Yeah, up to P5. Sam's gone for an undercut, and we will remain out on track as we've got Taylor up the inside there. Oh, and there's contact. Not sure what happened there, but I'm pretty sure there was some lag. CK seemed to say there was some lag involved, and Taylor has unfortunately been ruined by that, and he's down to the back. Skipping onto the start of lap 5, coming down into turn 1 once again. CK absolutely launches one with his ABS from miles back, and this was annoying me because what is the point and what do you gain from this? You just lose us both times, but at this point I couldn't really be bothered to battle. CK was probably faster on the hards at this point, so I just told him to go up the inside into turn 4 and I wouldn't fight it. So there you go, fella, up the inside as he squeezes us out there, but I'm not too bothered. CK moves up into P5 for the time being, and we remain in P6. But yeah, not particularly happy with how this race is going at this point. Joe and Luke have cleared off, and they're going to finish first and second. But CK, despite getting ahead of us, has now decided that he doesn't want to drive Malaysia, and I'm going to go back through. So yeah, that wasn't the most productive thing as we now head into the hairpin there. And yeah, we're back up into P5, and next up is PPR Pepsi and the Sauber, who's doing a very good job, I must say, of holding down P4. I think it's Leopard Bike in P3. So, coming into the penultimate corner, we won't be within DRS of them. CK will be within DRS of us, but we are heading to the pit lane. So, hopefully CK doesn't make that awkward for us, and we can just get straight into the pit lane without any issues. But we'll probably manage to crash and die or something as we head into the pit lane now. And yeah, we've understood. It hasn't cost us too much though, but we get a questionable track limits warning for that, as we now head down towards the pit entry. And yeah, we are going to see where we come out. Sam's had a 2-lap undercut on us, so it'll be interesting to see where we come out in relation to him. As you can see, maybe we'll hold up Pepsi a bit in his pit box. Yeah, we do. So the game is now on to see if we can catch Pepsi and Leopard Bike, but Leopard Bike started on the medium, so he's in a bit of a different race. And obviously CK and Casey started on the hards, also in a better situation than ourselves. But yeah, we come out of the pits just ahead of Sam, and on the fresh tyres we're going to push to try and catch Pepsi and see if we can salvage anything from this race, apart from like P6 or something worse than that. But anyway, we've now caught up to Matt Lovett on lap 7, who also started on the hards, and I'm going to charge it up the inside into the penultimate corner. We've gone in a bit too deep, and Matt Lovett's going to pull off a nice switch back there, so fair play. But I really don't want him battling me because he's not racing me. He's costing us both time, and he's ruining his strategy or whatever he's trying to do. So out the inside into the final corner. We've run a bit deep, but that's fine. We've cut off his line there, and we're up into P9 for the time being. There might be a couple more cars in the pits. No. There's no one else in the pits. We remain in P9, but Matt Lovett's going to dive up the inside and waste our time once again. And at this point, I was getting really frustrated. So we're going to hold the inside there, hold the inside into turn 2. Yep, go away. And we've managed to get up into P9, and he's died there and lagged into the wall. So, yep, that's karma, in my opinion. But unlucky for Matt Lovett there, who was actually showing some good pace whilst battling me, but he maybe needs to learn to pick his battles more. As we saw there, Terranova ran wide in the double right hander. We managed to get past him up into P8. And next up is Pepsi. We're on the DRS, not going to be close enough into turn 1. Someone was in the pits, so we're up into P7. Not sure who was in the pits, but oh well. Anyway, next up is Pepsi, as mentioned earlier, and we'll be hoping to pass him as soon as possible. And on the DRS into the final corner here, we actually are going to have a look down the inside. That surprised me, but I was not in a particularly time conserving mode as Pepsi tries to overtake us under the virtual safety car. Not having any of that, we managed to get that position back. So yeah, I didn't want to waste any time. I was trying to get rid of Pepsi as fast as possible. We've absolutely butchered the VSC restart, and Pepsi's going to stick with us, but apparently Leopard Bike doesn't know how to abuse that, so we're going to catch up to him. On this point, I was feeling pretty confident. I was reckoning, yeah, maybe we can still pull a decent-ish result out of this race, maybe like 4th or something. But we'll have to see if we can keep up the pace when our tyres get more worn, because most people around us will be on fresher tyres at that point. So coming into the penultimate corner, we should be within DRS of Leopard Bike, and that should allow us to maybe get past him into turn 1 or even the final corner if we try a dive bomb. So who knows? Coming down into the final corner, no, nothing doing there. As can we make the apex? Yes, we can. Going to get on the DRS now, and we should be close enough into turn 1, I would have thought. Obviously, not a green lap because the virtual safety car was out for half of it, and yeah, ran the outside into turn 1. He's later on the brakes due to his ABS, what a surprise, but we're just going to squeeze him to the apex and claim the apex for turn 2, and yeah, we're now up into P4 because someone pit, I think CK. So yeah, up into P4 for us, and hopefully we can get rid of these two and have a nice race without having to be hindered for the rest of the stint. But I know Pepsi was actually pretty good on pace, and as you can see, skipping a couple of laps later, he is right behind us. We've dropped Leopard Bike a little bit, whose pace on the hards doesn't seem to be as good, and Casey is now in the pit lane after an extremely long first stint on the hards. Pepsi's going to look to the outside to move up into what will be P3, and he takes that quite easily. We have a look up the inside, which was sort of like a half-assed look, but he wasn't actually as late on the brakes as I expected, so we're going to continue to battle this through turn 2, and we've actually held that round the outside, so that was a pretty good move, or defence rather, and yeah, we are up into P3 for the moment, but CK and Casey are on a much better strategy, and we'll be able to go on mediums or softs at the end, so that's what could be a problem. Anyway, skipping on later on, we've got another virtual safety car. I'm not sure what this was for, but Hopefully we can abuse this one to get away from Pepsi, but we've messed it up again, haven't we? So, yeah, fantastic. So Pepsi will still be within the DRS of us as we managed to keep the Delta in the green for literally all of it. So it wouldn't surprise me if Pepsi gained on us, especially after we've done that. As we now head down towards turn 2 once again. And this isn't looking too bad at the moment. Sure, we're going to lose quite a few points to their amazement, but after being 9th on lap 2, I would definitely take this position. As now Pepsi charges up my own side and barges me wide, as we've now got Callum in on the act as well. At this point, I'm going up the inside again for turn 2, but Pepsi manages to leave me space and hold it around the outside. And Callum's now on the mediums as we're coming towards the end of our hard stint, and I think he'll be looking up the inside any moment now. And yeah, this is not ideal, but I'm happy to battle with Pepsi for the moment if we can just not lose too much time and remain in P3 and P4 net as we head into the last corner now. Going up the inside into the pit lane. Yes, great driving. So as you can see, that was successful, and that was just my frustration more than anything else, to be honest, and that's cost us a lot of time to Pepsi. But oh well, I'm going to get it slowed down to the pit lane, and we're going to have to do the work all over again to catch up Pepsi. Once again, Sam had gone for the undercut, but he was quite a bit behind this time, so I'll be interested to see where he comes out with his undercut. I suspect he'll be behind me, but you never know, and we're going to hold up Pepsi again, so that's always good. As we now come for another set of hard tyres, presumably. I maybe could have stretched out for the mediums, but there wasn't really much point. I was going to try and get the undercut on people like CK and Leopard Bike as we now head down towards turn 1. Once again, Sam right behind us, so carbon copy of after the first stop, really. And it's annoying that we couldn't be right up with Pepsi. Maybe I should have backed out, just let him have the line into the final corner. And as a result, we would be right behind him instead of having to push to catch up. I'm not sure, there might be people in the pits. Yeah, someone was in the pits, Jordan Gibbs, I think. So we're now up into P7 as we head down into turn 1. Hopefully we can beat Pepsi. I know he has a penalty at this point, which is good because it means we don't necessarily have to beat him on track. But skipping a few laps later, we've caught up to him, and we're going to chuck it up the inside into not necessarily the most conventional place, and that's us up into P6. Callum's pitted for a set of halves and has come out ahead of us, so that's fantastic. So he's going to probably beat us in this race with 8 laps remaining. And skipping on to the end of lap 20, start of lap 21, Pepsi's looking back up the inside into turn 1 as this battle reconvenes for 6th place at the moment, but a few people have still got to pit. It's just side by side through turn 2, and yeah, that was my fault 100%. We'll let Pepsi back through there because I just didn't leave him the space on the exit. He's clearly still alongside, and that's lost us a bit of time to Sam there and also to CK. But this battling isn't helping us because the people who still have to pit are gaining time on us, even though they should in theory be on much lower tyres. As we're coming through the final few corners now. At this point I've had enough. I've dived it up the inside of the penultimate corner. Quite a good move actually, and with the DRS we should be able to defend that. Maybe, probably not. But yeah, we're currently sitting in 6th, which is fantastic, I must say. And hopefully when Casey and Co come out the pit lane, we can be ahead of them, because I think Casey and Leopard Bike still have to pit as we head down the DRS straight. For some reason we don't have DRS, which is just amazing, and as a result Pepsi's going to fly past. We're going to break very late into turn 1. There's another proximity error. Casey's come out of nowhere. I've cut him off in anger, and we're now going to go back up the inside of Pepsi, and there's contact, and we're round. Fantastic. And that was just me getting annoyed. Sam's gone past as well. Pepsi kindly waits, so thanks to him if he's watching. And we're now down into P7, so that's amazing. But I think Sam will probably not fight me too hard if I catch up to him, which I have done. But at this point I was raging. Thank you to Sam there, who sacrificed quite a lot in this race to help me out, so I appreciate that. If you're watching as well, this Leopard Bike is now pitted for softs and is hunting after CK for the final podium place. And it's looking like we're going to finish in P6 as we actually set a personal best there on lap 25. Anyway, skipping on to lap 26, we've managed to Perez it, which is always good because we've lost more time to Sam. And Pepsi is not too far behind either. And Yeah, that's the point. This is just me losing concentration. I'm not going to blame anyone else. This was horrendous driving from myself, pretty much throughout the race, and it's cost me a lot of points in the championship. And I think if I finish in this position, I would have lost all the 18 points I had as a lead over Joe, and we will be in fact equal as we come into the hairpin on the final lap. We almost drop it again there, um, and we've now got Pepsi here as well. At this point, I didn't know Sam also had a penalty, so I was, I couldn't speak in the party because my controller had run out of batteries. Um, so yeah, I thought Sam didn't have a penalty, so it wouldn't matter if Pepsi beat him. But as it turns out, he did have a penalty, so he does actually need to finish ahead of Pepsi on track. Anyway, congrats to Joe. He's won the race here. So we've just got one corner left before I can find a bridge to jump off after this horrendous race. One corner left. We're going to come home in P6. Sam will also come home in P7. Horrendous result for the Haas team. Great result for the Renault team, actually, first and third. As we come across the line now for P6 in the Malaysian Grand Prix, I drive towards the wall. I can't even smash my car in the wall after the finish. And yeah, awful race. Mostly my fault, apart from turn 1, which is a racing incident. So yeah, results on the screen. Joe won the race. Luke in second. Congrats to CK in third. I think he dominated, notable performance or whatever it is. Leopold Bike in fourth on debut. Casey fifth. Myself sixth. Sam seventh. Pepsi 8th, and then there is Jork and Jordan Gibbs running out the top 10. So yeah, I'll see you next week, or well, hopefully sooner than next week for the Japanese Grand Prix, where hopefully we can regain the lead of the championship, as we are actually behind Joe, because he's won more races than us. But guys, thanks for watching. Apologies for the poor driving in this week's race, and I'll see you soon for Japan. Goodbye.